Yes, I'm ready to go live because I've got my torpedoes handy. Hello, hello, hello. So Eric Zombro, who is recovering from get this now, a law enforcement officer's retirement party in Texas over the weekend. He pings me this morning. Goes, "Oh man, I think I'm still drunk." So they had a good time, and occasionally these law enforcement guys will listen to the hamster and us guys. So hey, thank you, appreciate it. Enjoy your retirement, officer, and drive safely there, Zombro. Get back home, and yeah, glad you had a good time. So I was laying in bed being lazy because I'm really good at that. And I thought, well, since Zombro is going to go work some of that alcohol out by running on a treadmill for a few miles, I thought I'd come here and say hello and do a couple streams. Why not? Oh, by the way, I brought out Hammer Claus because Hammer is back with the Sunday sermon tonight, 6:25 Central Time. Do not miss that on Hammer's channel. Also, Brandon Trueblood has a stream coming up about, some form of going their own way. That's at 5:30. So don't miss Brandon's stream. I'll try to be there and see if I can hang out with Hammer because I'm going to run out of torpedoes early today. So it's a shame. Damn it. Results oriented. Hello. Brandon is here. Moo. How you doing, big boy? And Godfather of Ramadi. Glad to see you yesterday. Yeah, I think we might try to do maybe a weekly Saturday man chat, hot stove, men talk stuff. Yeah, I think I like that idea. So we'll see what happens here. Dr. Dre's in the building. Hello. Or is it Dr. Dre? Oh, yes, it's. Oh, yeah, he's a dirty Santa. So, yeah, Hammer will be back tonight at 6:25. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be fun. And again, Brandon, 5:30. All right. Thought we'd go through a couple of why red pill sucks and you men are evil. Okay, who is this dude here? Let's.
Hey, Jim, so what is the red pill community?
They're groups of men that have basically attributed much of their problems to the women's movement.
Yes, listen up, losers. You losers.
A group of men who are anti-feminist, who really...
Yeah, well, let's run it's only like 40 seconds long. Let's run through it once, and then we'll go back, and you can listen to the hamster's commentary instead of interrupting. Go ahead and say your whole thing.
Developed a belief system that women are actually in control of the society and that women hold privilege, and they attribute much of their problems to women. There's a link between the incel movement and the red pill.
You have this huge...
Oh, wait, sorry. We'll start again.
Hey, Jim, so what is the red pill community?
They're groups of men that have basically attributed much of their problems to the women's movement. It's a group of men who are anti-feminist, who really have developed a belief system that women are actually in control of the society and that women hold privilege. And they attribute much of their problems to women. There's a link between the incel movement and the red pill movement. It's based on misogyny, really entitlement. It's unfortunately something that is also linked in lots of different ways to online violence. Some of their platforms on Reddit, for instance, have been banned because it's leading to violence. So basically, the red pill movement is groups of men that are projecting their problems onto women as the cause of all of them.
Okay, so what did you guys think of what this man, I think he's a psychologist, Jim Brillion. You can look Jim Brillion, Brillon, online. I didn't put the link in the chat. I just put the main topic, the main meat, the main course. Hamsters control society. I follow all his commands. Yes, Mystery Man is here. And CJ, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Okay. So he basically said, and we're going to run through it again here. He basically said, incels, red pill losers like we are, we just blame all our problems on women. And that women are entirely in charge of our civilization, and all the problems in my life are due to women. Does that sound like projection to anyone but me? Isn't that exactly what feminists say? But apparently Mr. Brilliant here, Dr. Brilliant, whatever, brilliant guy, he doesn't see that that's a problem. See, he's looking at incel, red pill, us fucking loser, terrorists, whatever. And he's saying, well, here's the problem. You're blaming everything on everybody else, and you're saying the women are in charge. What did the fembots say about Western civilization? Men are the problem. All the problems in my lives are caused by men. Men are in charge. The government, patriarchy. I think this man is projecting. I think he heard red pill and thought feminism in his head. Let's listen to it again, and I will comment. Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, so what is the red pill community?
They're groups of men that have basically attributed much of their problems to the women's movement.
Very, very, very distinct and different things. What he wants you to hear is these evil incels are blaming all their problems on women. He actually says that. No. We blame the problems on the women's movement, the feminists, the radicals, who are basically destroying this country. He's doing the bad thing. He's equating women with feminism. The two are separate, related, obviously, but not the same thing. You can hate feminism, the women's movement, and all the toxic shit going on in the various places with whatever the hell they're doing nowadays. It's just hate men, right? That's not women. It's feminism. You can hate an ideology and not hate women who may or may not be a part of the ideology. As a matter of fact, some people might actually have sympathy for some of these younger women, especially, and the older women especially, because they should know better. They have been so brainwashed to believe in their nonsense. It's like they're a part of a cult. They've been brainwashed. We don't blame the cult members when they're brainwashed, right? We try to help them. It's like, oh my God, I understand. You've been brainwashed by this bullshit. So he's equating feminism and women. No.
It's a group of men who are anti-feminist.
Anti-ideology is not anti-female. See, this is an easy mistake that a lot of these intellectuals make. Oh my God, they hate women. No, we admit we hate feminism because we don't like the idea of authoritarian control, because that's where it always leads to. You can't get equal outcome and all this other fucking crap they bitch about without the government's heavy hand getting involved. And the more power you give to the government, the less the people have. Do you understand that? Of course not. Women, they're so oppressed.
Who really have developed a belief system that women are actually in control of the society.
They are. With respect just the sheer number of heads, there are more females in this country that can vote than men. Thus, women are driving the government. Women in general. The feminists are the loudest voices screaming at the government, oh, women are so oppressed. These guys and men and women in Congress don't freaking know. It's like, oh, can I get votes from that? Okay, yeah, I'm all for the yay. That's all those fucking prostitutes in Congress give a shit about. Come on now.
That women hold privilege. And
They do. They do. It's not just a belief. It's not just a fantasy. They do have privilege in a lot of areas. Excuse me, Mr. Brilliant. Let's just say we both agree that the women's movement, say in the late 60s, early 70s, there are these problems. These problems we need to fix. There's, the women not paying, whatever the case is, right? Women in college, all this stuff. All that's been fixed. Everything they were complaining about in the 60s, early 70s, it's done. It's fixed. Since 1979, there have been more women than men in college. And yet we still say women are somehow oppressed in this country. And the politicians believe them. The feminists don't give a shit about women's rights. They hate women just as much as men in many cases. Put that in your pipe and smoke
they
it.
attribute much of their problems to women.
With respect to dating, whom else would it be? if they want to date a woman. We'll get into more of that conversation shortly. Oh my God, look at Seraphim's here. Yeah, Ray Pacheco is in the
There's
building.
a link between
He's gone with John here. He keeps missing the damn streams. I keep putting him on there, the highlight on this multi-million member platform, and he's never here. So,
incel movement and the red pill movement. It's based on misogyny.
really? Do you know what the definition of misogyny is, sir? I might add. You seem like an academic, well-educated. What is misogyny? The definition of the word literally. Oh, it means the hatred of women. Do you see how we're conflating things again? Hating feminism is the same as hating women. No, sir, I'm sorry. You are incorrect. You can hate an ideology and not hate the people who may or may not partake in it.
Really entitlement. It's unfortunately something.
Killa Hayes in the building. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope everything's all right. Killa, good to see you. Pop into our Saturday chats. I'm just going to start trying to do that every week. Saturday morning sometime. Love to have you on. All right, go.
That is also linked in lots of different ways to online
violence.
Some of their platforms.
Online violence. You mean a place where people sometimes say stupid shit, but it's impossible to actually have violence if you're just saying, except if somebody doxes you and whatever, which I might know a little bit about, that might have happened at some point. That's kind of violent. But you're saying mean words and criticism. Okay, violence. Got it.
On Reddit, for instance, have been
Are you writing your own dictionary, sir? Just curious.
Banned because it's leading to violence. So basically, the red pill movement is.
Yeah, there were 3 crazy people who did violence in real life that allegedly were red pill. Right, got it.
Groups of men that are projecting their problems onto women.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Killa. Misogyny is anything that doesn't cater to the females. Yes, thank you.
As the cause of all of them.
Okay, all right, good. Let's do one more other one here, quick.
Do me a favor and watch this video.
Divorce, and that's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
That isn't a good one. There was another one here I was going to do. Let's see. Yeah, Coach Red Pill, rest in peace, man. The guy got killed. I'm sure you heard that, right? He was, I think, Ukrainian prison, I believe. And the government, the United States, didn't do shit because why would they? And now he's not with us anymore. Terrible. All right, let's do this chick who I'm not sure about this one. Sometimes I think, yeah, she's got it going on, baby doll, and I'm on fire. And other times I'm like, kind of sounds like a grifter. Go ahead.
Let me tell you about my biggest issue with red pill influencers. I used to think they all wanted to defeat feminism, but now I'm just realizing that they use feminism as an excuse to encourage negativity and toxic behavior amongst men. They bitch about women being hoes, but encourage men to be more promiscuous and create more hoes. They nihilistically claim that modern women are completely irredeemable. And rather than encouraging men and women to go change their ways and right the wrongs, they just bitch and moan while collecting a paycheck from the angry, hopeless men that they create.
Yeah, well, you're talking about guys who are grifters there, Sweetwater. What is her name? Billy something? Billy Brandt? Billy Ray Brandt? Billy Ray Cyrus? Her parents must have liked Don't Break My Heart. My aching, breaking heart.
It's all bitching with no solution.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of solutions out there if you listen to MRA types, Paul Elam, and what's that other guy's name? I can't think of it off the top of my head. He's the real soft-spoken guy. God, my brain is it's leaving me. There's lots of solutions, potential solutions, but nobody gives a fuck. Billy Ray Brandt. And so what you got is a bunch of red pill grifters out there saying, buy my fucking book, I'll fix your life, go work at the gym, blah, 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 blah. Just send me money. It's capitalism. It's evil capitalism, but it is capitalism nonetheless. All right. That's enough of that. Let's get to the main beefy topic, shall we? All right. So I came across this. I'm going to blow it up so you can see it even better. I'll take Hammerhand out of there. We'll just have a whole thing of them. All right. Well, maybe I'll put hammer. There we go. Yeah, hammer in the bottom. All right. Now, I know this came out a few months ago. Mr. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, who most of the time I can get behind what he's saying. And I think a little while after he made this thing, he put out another video about, oh, geez, I didn't know this whole marriage thing, divorce is also so fucked up. He didn't say fucked up, but that's obviously what he meant, right? And so here we have a man from, I'm not sure what his name is. What is this freaking channel called? God something? Hey, he's a God pill guy, right? He's a Jesus pill. And that's fine. And he, of course, both of these men are Christian. And they're both, and my mouse just died. Oh, good. Let me see here. Did that really happen? Yeah. Don't you love it? Just during the show, let the mouse, okay, there it is, it's back. Anyway, he's a Jesus pill guy. Matt's a Jesus pill guy. And what they're, hey, Zombro, what they're looking at from the standpoint of family, marriage, God, I totally understand and do not at all disagree. Yes, men and women should get married, have children, two-parent household, raise the kids to be right, God-fearing, I have no issue with that. I think it's a great idea. Here's the problem, and I think we have two in the title of the video. What did I say it was? Marriage and its decline. We have quality and supply chain. Okay, we have a quality problem with the women that are being churned out today, especially the younger ones. But, it wasn't that many years ago, I was a young man out looking for the, right? Even though I'm 59 now, I mean, 20 years ago isn't all that long ago. That's when I met the crazy one. And I still haven't told you the whole story there, but trust me. Yeah. We have a quality problem. And the quality problem comes, we don't have restrictions on behavior. All that has gone away somewhat rapidly in the late 50s, early 60s with the decline of the church influence. Because, oh, you're square, man, free love and all, the revolution, all that kind of shit, right? We have a quality problem. We're not getting the quality we expect. There's no documentation to say, hey, do it this way. It's kind of like, the airplanes have been in the news as of late. And Brandon is in the airplane business. I'm adjacent airplane. So I know a little bit about this, and I can tell you, you would not believe the unbelievable amount of documentation, directions, here's how to do this, here's the work, it is entirely freaking controlled, top to bottom. And that's what makes it so crazy that this door flew off this airplane. How could that possibly happen? The thing is, what makes it apparent to most people, right? Because remember the, what was it, 737 MAX thing that happened a few years ago. Prometheus is here, hello, and Chaos, hello. A few years ago, the company, this company, Boeing, came out with the 737 MAX to compete with the Airbus. Long story short, they put in some electronics that was not well known to the pilots. And the reason they did it was because of center of gravity and right? I could go on with a bunch of shit, right? Equations. Nobody wants to hear that, right? It's like, the plane crashed. That's all you need, right? But when you say there were bolts missing in a freaking door, mom and pop at the dinner table who are not engineers, who don't know anything about avionics, who don't know anything about the freaking process, are going, how in the hell did that happen? It's a bolt. It's got a nut and a bolt, and you screw it on. It's really easy to understand, right? Same thing here. When you don't have a process, things get fucking out of control. What do we have with the current market of women? They're not good quality. Oh, see, look at this woman-hating red pill guy. I didn't say all of them. I'm not talking about, let's be honest, the fresh and fit hoes, right? They're hoes. They're clearly, they're party girls and they're out doing whatever they're doing, right? I'm just talking about your run-of-the-mill average farm girl, goes to college in the big city and goes to church and all that stuff. All of her hoeing around is hidden. Well, it used to be. Now, not so much, but the point being, you can see when she's a hoe. It's clearly, to most men, it's like, oh, she's a hoe. Yeah, get it. Just like most men can go, oh yeah, he's a fuckboy. But women seem to be incapable of that. Not sure why. I think they don't want to know, you know what I mean? Hamster brain and all that. And so the supply chain issue is simply this. The current crop of families, education system, college, whatever, they're churning out women, not all of them, but a lot of them, it seems, probably just under a majority, that are unfit for purpose. They do not meet the demands of the market. And the market is men. They meet the demands of the top 5 to 10%, but only for fucking, not for marriage. That's different. See, when these high flying guys, good looking, tall, ball guys, whatever, when they want to get married and have a kid, they're not going for a 34-year-old used up hoe. We all know this. It's reality. We can look around and see it. We don't need a bunch of statistics, and we don't need a stat cell. Well, where's your study? We can see it with our own freaking eye. Well, that's anecdotal. It is, but let me tell you, if you got millions of men saying we've had the same experience, I think there's something to it. Don't you? Even if it's anecdotal. Excuse me. My own personal truth and all that shit, only it matters if you're a person of color, especially a woman who's a leftist, right? Well, my personal truth and our personal truth, but times a million is, that's different. Throw that out. That's not everything. Anyway, enough of me spewing bullshit. So we got quality, we've got no quality controls, and the supply chain is simply not putting out the required product. And I hate to talk about that because women are obviously not widgets that come out of a factory. But it certainly seems like once they go to college, they are freaking indoctrinated in bullshit. And thus we still have feminists out here talking about the wage gap. And oh my God, and this and that. Are you kidding me? Really? You can't do 5 minutes. Oh, that's right. Most of them are gender studies majors. I keep forgetting. Do they even have a math 101 class they have to take? What is that? Addition? Anyway, let's hear from these guys.
I've spent a lot of time in my career defending the institution of marriage, and I defend it because it's the bedrock of civilization, so Amen. It deserves defending. And I defend
Yes, bedrock of civilization, and that's why exactly the feminist Marxists torpedoed it. Dumbass. Look back to the freaking Russian Revolution. It's been that way since the freaking start. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead, Matt. Say your piece, and we'll calmly respond to your bullshit.
Because it's under constant attack, so it needs defending. And one of the most troubling developments in recent years, which we've discussed on the show in the past, is that these attacks are increasingly waged not just from the left, but from certain noisy segments of the right.
Ooh, really? You mean Ron DeSantis, who signed a long overdue bill in Florida that says, no, from this day forward, alimony is limited. Is that what you're talking about? Oh my God. Listen, he hates women, doesn't he?
It's crazy that marriage is now being attacked by both sides. That's not
Again, you missed the point, Mr. God. Jesus Phil guy. Marriage is fine. Marriage is good. Marriage is great. It is the foundation of our country, around the world, families, foundation of the country. Most men would love to get married. Most men would love to have children. Most men would love to have, well, I can speak for me, I don't know about you guys, but love to have the picket fence and the, 2 vacations a year to Disneyland, couple kids running around, baseball, dog, all that. But it's not possible for most men. When I say most men, under the 10% of the top men, to even get anywhere near such a ideal. And what you're seeing is a lot of men going, I have no shot at this. Why should I even bother? And then we could look at the statistics that anyone with 2 eyeballs, I have 1.5 eyeballs, can see about marriage in current year 2024. We're going to find out shortly. These men have been married for a long time. Do you think anything has changed in the dating market, gentlemen, over the last 20 years. I'll just float that out there. You think anything's different than it was 20 years ago? Maybe?
Never happened before. The red pill and the liberals got this in common too. I tell you, man,
Right.
if this ain't feminism reversed, I don't know what is.
As well, some right-wing influencers with legions of young, mostly male fans have decided that men should abandon marriage and family life and go their own way. And these,
I mean, am I a red pill influencer? Oh my God, help. God help us. God help. K Platt is here. Hello. Hey, Zombro. He's hey, Michelle Guevara is also in the building. Yeah, the red pill guys. Yeah, that's it. Right. They're the same as feminism. Right. Same.
these influencers, many of whom consider themselves a part of the so-called red pill movement, pretend to despise feminists and yet have essentially arrived at the same conclusion as feminists, which is that
Again, Mattress Walsh, you were making the same mistake that many of the types that, you and this other dude last time. Despising feminism is not the same as hating women. Do you understand that, Matt? You're a smart guy. You got a show. You probably make millions of dollars a year. God bless you, man. You got 17 kids. Good. Do you understand despising an ideology does not mean despising women? Go on.
we should give up on the family. The two sides hate marriage almost as much as they hate each other.
We, on the red pill side of things and MGTOW side of things, we don't hate marriage. We hate the fucking laws surrounding marriage and divorce that greatly benefit the female. I mean, all you got to do is say alimony, and it's like, why would there be alimony, Matt? Why is that? Oh, because the poor women. Women are strong and powerful. They work today. 2 family incomes, blah, just to fucking pay rent. He's got a job. Why should he pay her alimony? What sense does that make? Wait a minute. That's part of the patriarchy shit we like, says the feminists. Because they'll fight you tooth and nail. Did you see the earthquake that happened in Florida when this little bill was passed by the legislature of Florida, and thus the people of Florida that said alimony is limited. You only get it for a certain amount of time, and that's it, as of this date. What did they do? Oh, what about grandma? She's going to start. It has nothing to do with grandma. It has nothing to do with people who were divorced before the date. Do you think that stops the mainstream media from spewing bullshit, Matt? You should know this. So why don't we just get rid of alimony? Wouldn't that be a nice, easy start? No more alimony. It's illegal. If you want a divorce, fine. But you got to make your own money. Maybe a limited time alimony, a few months just to get you an apartment, whatever. We could work out the details. Nobody is talking about it except Ron DeSantis and the government of Florida. And they actually did something about it. Nobody else in the country. No one. Now, tell me, Matt, from a conservative perspective, why wouldn't you be out there screaming at the conservatives to fix this thing? Well, we want marriages to be the bedrock of our society. Why aren't you screaming at the politicians who could make it happen? Why aren't any of these family-loving conservatives passing legislation to fix this? Let me clue you in, Matt. They don't give a shit. It's a selling point for the campaign.
Oops.
Now, one of these influencers is a woman named Pearl Davis, who has garnered a relatively large following on YouTube and various social media platforms. She's in her mid-20s, single and childless, and yet full of opinions about modern marriage and family life, a subject that she...
I always find it funny when people point out that about her. I think she has the right to her opinions, but I just always find it funny.
Oh, I'm glad you allow a woman to have her right to her opinions, Mr. Jesus Pill. That's really fucking magnanimous of you. He doesn't even know what he just said there, isn't it? It's crazy. Zombro said, yeah, Tennessee is going for different, for paternity stuff. Yeah. I mean, it is happening in some places, but it should be happening everywhere. If the Republicans cared so much about the family, oh my God, the bedrock of our society, they would listen to the points of men saying this is fucked up. William Stenchenhammer is here. This Stenchy is in the building. Hello, Stench. Pearl is hot. She's all right.
People point out, like, she has all these opinions about marriage and family, yet she's single and childless.
She has
I see.
no personal insight.
Do you? This guy is a. Where are you at on the bell curve, sir? Listen to what you just said
About her. I think she has the right to her opinions, but I just always find it funny when people point out, like, she has all these opinions about marriage and family, yet she's single and childless.
What do the feminists say about abortion? Well, you can't have a baby, so you shouldn't have an opinion on it. Do you understand? Lost cause alert. Here we go.
Has no personal insight into whatsoever. She spent the past few days on the internet complaining about quote unquote trad cons like myself.
Because I'm not an aircraft engineer, I shouldn't have an opinion on the fucking parts of airplanes falling off. Matt, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Well, Pearl's not married. What would she know? She's a human being. She has a brain. She can observe. She can read. Fuck's wrong with you guys? Seriously, this is getting me pissed now. I didn't even hear this part. You're not allowed to have an opinion? So I'm a divorced guy. I'm not married, so I have no opinion on marriage. What the This is worse than I thought, gentlemen. I'm glad we're doing this one.
Who, she says, promote the nuclear family despite not understanding what it's really like. Yes, we men who actually
oh boy,
have wives and children don't know what it's like to be married, but a woman who is not married and has no children does know what it's like. In one of her tweets, she
Pearl's a coal burner, but hey, whatever. I don't care. Good for her. Whatever. Get that big yard.
The trad cons push marriage because they aren't old enough to know better.
You're not going to get psychological depth anywhere else in the Hebrew Bible the way in which.
Okay.
They don't know the reality of what they're pushing.
The trad cons push marriage because they aren't old enough to know better.
Yeah, I don't know what Pearl's saying. I'm not here to vouch for whatever she said, but son of a bitch, if you're not married, you can't have an opinion about being married. What kind of bullshit is that? Jesus.
All of us, everyone here is older than you, Pearl.
Oh my
and
God.
Everyone, myself, at least, I mean, I've been married almost 16 years. I don't know.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. Listen to that again, very carefully.
Pearl, and everyone, myself, at least, I mean, I've been married almost 16 years. I don't know how long they've been married, but everyone.
So I don't know. Can I do that? How did that show up? I think that's them. I don't think that's me, Brandon. So this guy, Godpill, has been married 16 years. So he was dating in around the 2005, somewhere 2004s. Is there any conceivable way things could have changed a little bit in the past almost 2 decades? Anything? Well, the hamster. You haven't been on a date in 10 years. What do you know about it? Well, you're not wrong. I haven't been because I did the research, and it's like, no thanks.
When posted here is at least half a decade older than you and probably has been married a long time. So I'm not.
So you have to be older and be married in order to have an opinion on marriage if you're Pearl Davis. Do you understand the misogyny you're spewing out now? It's not misogyny, but you know what I'm saying. What kind of bullshit is this? Anyone can have an opinion on anything. They could be completely freaking wrong, which Pearl probably is, but what are you saying, dude? Get those women in church and put them in burqas. And I'm confused.
I'm not tracking how.
This is accompanied by a picture of myself, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. We aren't old enough to know better and don't know the reality of what we're pushing, yet a woman who is younger than us and single does know better and does understand this reality. Notice she goes on to say that marriage is
not even possible that Pearl has some insight that maybe you don't. I guess not. Well, she's a woman and shit and whatever.
Terrible deal for men. And she later explains, quote, would you ever sign a contract that fails 75% of the time where your business partner is paid to break the contract?
Yeah.
Why would you encourage men to sign that contract until the terms are fixed?
I love.
Okay. I'm going to let them explain their freaking stats here, because I'm not a stat cell. However, I can think with my own fucking head. I can go look up the CDC and the census. I could do all that shit. Okay. Eventually, they're going to get to, according to the, well, I'll let them say it. But they're going on and on about Pearlie saying 50% of marriages end in divorce. Okay. Now, that is a slightly skewed statistic to get headlines. What that statistic is saying is that out of every 2 marriages in current year, there is 1 that fails. It's divorced, right? Now, the thing is, from today, there's decades of marriages already behind that. So it's coming up and people are getting divorced, 1 compared to 2 people getting married. That's where that comes from. The real number is 35%. And they're going to say, well, that's great. Look, it's only 35%. Well, let's see now. If there's a 1 in 3 chance the door of your airplane is going to blow off every time you go on a flight, what you, not acceptable. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Of the way he meticulously goes through and addresses these numbers. The issue, one of the biggest issues with the red pill is their selective use of data. And
I just told you where the data come from. And I know you can't talk back to me, but this is what I would say to him. Look, it's a stretch. It's not 50%, but it is. 50% of marriages at some point in the past will end in this year, and twice as many people will get married. Right. You know my point. It sounds like Joe Biden. America or something. Well, I've only had 1 torpedo. Come on, you guys.
How arbitrary it is. It's like when they feel like using data, then they're going to use it, and then when there's data that's thrown in their face, it's clearly in contradiction with some of the nonsense they push. They will say that the data is funded by wokey liberals and it's wrong. So it's
again, sir, Mr. Jesus Bill, you are projecting, because that's exactly what the fembots and the lefties do. Well, that data was funded by the Koch brothers. The Census Bureau of the United States of America, the fucking numbers are right there. It's not hard to look up. Anyone can look it up. Now, you could say the government is corrupt and lefty and communist and whatever. But numbers are numbers. Unless they're actually lying, it's possible. It's possible.
Very selective in terms of that. And a lot of the data they use, they don't really even double check themselves to look at what studies. It's just like the same parody.
The United States Census Bureau. Wow, but where's the link? Jesus Christ.
Talking points oftentimes. But there's some data they use that I would agree with. But a lot of it, when it comes to this specific conversation, is just completely parroted and usually nonsensical.
Just learn that marriage is.
If I might do a little steel man for Pearlie here, what she probably was trying to refer to is that 75% of divorces are initiated by women. But again, maybe that's something. Oh God, Moist is here. Is he here? Is MGTOW Outlaw here? Oh my God. MGTOW Outlaw. Oh my God. It's so good.
Fail at a rate of 75%. The figure that people like this normally use is 50%. And the claim that 50% of marriages end in divorce is already spurious, and we'll have more on that in a moment. But
no, it's not, actually. If you look at it, oh God almighty.
75%?
This might be more than I can do today. This is my day of rest. It's the day of the Lord, Jesus.
Where that number came from, so I scrolled down and I saw something that she reposted from an alleged lawyer who said this, quote, "It's not 50-50. That only accounts for divorces. Another 25% on the negative side for miserable men trapped in cheaper to keep her marriages, unwilling to risk financial destruction and loss of their children."
Well, that is something to take into account, isn't it? Yeah, this bitch is a gash from fucking hell, and she's fucking the neighbor. But it's just easier to just stay. I get it.
75% chance of a devastatingly bad outcome is just a bad plan. No sane person would enter into a commercial contract on such terms.
The math
Resurgence is here. Hello, Resurgence.
isn't math in here. So one,
All right.
That's why, despite the massive criminality and corruption of the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, and all the rest, none of them ever get indicted or ever get investigated. They're totally protected by a fake and disgusting system.
Get on.
But I did everything right, and the system tries to throw me right into a jail. They can't beat me at the ballot box, so they're out there trying to take me out by other means. Anything they can think of. These people don't love our country.
All American patriots who are seeing this video to join forces and get President Trump back in office.
We're going to watch it.
Are you in?
Why not?
If so, you can make a massive
Okay,
difference by taking our early poll to support President Trump. In return, we'll give you a limited edition Trump 2024 flag, absolutely free.
But I mean, let's be honest. He's just trying to get money. Come on, they're all scumbags. Come on, he's just our scumbag.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Claiming that it's 50-50, marriages fail 50% rate, which we're going to get into why that's complete nonsense. But two, then he says add another 25% on the negative side for miserable men trapped in cheaper to keep. So is he saying that out of the half of marriages that fail, that the other half are in cheaper to keeper marriages? So
not really.
Basically, what he's saying is 50% of the people who are staying married hate it. Is that what he's saying?
No. He's saying 25% of those left over are cheaper to keeper. So 12.5%.
Or is just the math bad? And he's saying out of the 50% that stay married, 25% out of the 50 are in cheaper to keeper.
Yes.
Which means that the number wouldn't be 75%. It would be like 62%. Right?
Correct.
Right. And nevertheless, I'm not sure how they came to these conclusions or where they got these.
And I just don't understand. Oh my God, why would people care about that? If there's only 62% of people hating me. Get married, guys. Wipe up those hoes.
Now, I did ask him where he got this 75% figure from. Apparently, the magic statistic fairy came and whispered it in his ear. Now, for her part,
yeah, Matt. Excuse me, Matt. Why don't you just go look up the data yourself? It's right there available. United States Census Bureau. You believe in the government, don't you, Matt? Why, yes, I do, but only the conservative parts of it.
Pearl later tweeted a picture of Pierce Brosnan with his wife of 20 years, and she questioned whether the marriage counts as successful since Brosnan's wife has put on some weight at the age of 60.
Yeah, and this is where I disagree with a lot of people. Look, I'm 59. Brandon, you're 55 or something. We get fat, we get old. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, if this woman were 25 and Piers was maybe 30, it's she must get good head or whatever. But that's stupid. It's stupid. So, again, Pearlie is not the arbiter of everything. Oh my God, everything she says is gold. It's like unicorn shit. No. Sometimes she shit posts. Do we understand SIHIT shit posts? That does happen too on the old internet, right?
So apparently, even
this whole idea that like if a woman puts on weight, therefore the marriage is not successful is kind of gross, because
I mean, we all put on weight unless we really, really work hard to not.
And do this thing where they have kids and they put on a weight for that, and not all of them bounce back.
Yes.
A lot of them do, like especially if you're breastfeeding.
No, especially if they get pregnant when they're say it with me, gentlemen. If they are young. Roger that. When they are young. If they're having children when they're 20, 21, that bounces right up, boom, like that. They're back in shape, even better shape. Why? Because they're still fertile. And they have to attract the man to give it's that biological lizard brain shit. When you're 38, your eggs know you got none left, so it doesn't matter anymore. Do you understand the point?
You could definitely bounce back fairly quick, but
yes, when you're 18,
back, not all women can breastfeed. So the notion that because a woman puts on weight, that therefore the marriage is suffering, when most people in marriages go through ups and downs and go through times of maybe gaining weight.
Michelle Guevara, he's 52. I didn't get fat because there's a lot. Vive la France.
Especially with dudes and women, right? So
even if they're happy and have remained married for 2 decades, they still might fall into that 75% failure rate because they have not both remained in supermodel condition into their 60s.
You know, the thing about getting a little larger, a little fatter as you get older, you know, you slow down, your bones creak. The one thing that never gets bigger on me is my dick. Why is that? I mean, that sounds like a Father Saunders question. Why is it I get flab around my belly, but my dick doesn't grow? I don't know.
This debate on social media brought out the rest of the marriage skeptical crowd on the right.
Showed.
A bunch of these red pill influencers decided to hop on an emergency Zoom call and spend...
The richest person in the world who started 3 of the biggest companies in history.
There's Ben.
You went from being golden boy, we all love you, everyone loves you.
Wasn't that long ago?
You're coming into...
You guys know Elon Musk is now Hitler, right? I'm sure you've known that. Yeah.
Save free speech.
Biggest deception is the choice.
He's very, very bad. Very bad man. We can't have that guy doing what he's doing. He's getting, oh my God. He can
2 hours talking about me and the rest of the Daily Wire crew and our reckless promotion of society's most fundamental institution. Now, there's one clip here that you should see. This is apparently a divorce lawyer who says that the failure rate for marriage is not 50% and it's not 75%.
Yeah, we need more video clips to entertain my gentleman here. So play them, you son of a bitch. Diogenes Dworkis is here. I mean,
it is in fact even higher. Listen.
I think marriage can be successful, of course. It's just not something that's as scalable as we as a society are trying to pretend it is. Marriage is, and I've said this 100 times and I'll say it 100 more, marriage is like the lottery. You are probably not going to win, okay? You're probably not going to win. Don't make that your 401k. You're probably not going to win. But it's
gross.
It's true, man. I'd say Elon Musk is actually a sheep in wolf's clothing, but I might be wrong on that. I have to do more. But whatever he's doing, you know, he's sucking the right dicks because, you know, he's doing a lot of shit. So I don't know what the deal is with him, but I mean, he seems reasonable. And when he's smoking weed like Mr. Hemi 4-Speed, you know, he's really trippy, bro. He's tripping, man.
Gross. This is probably the worst thing you could tell young people.
you win. What you win is so great that I don't blame you for buying a ticket and trying. I personally don't buy lottery tickets. But when somebody says, yeah, I played the lottery, hey man, somebody's got to win. And you know what? As long as you're not blowing money that you need for food or to put shoes on your kids' feet.
And that is not true. Somebody doesn't have to win. That's why the fucking lottery never loses money. Okay.
You're not hurting anybody. Go out, give it a try. So I always tell people, listen, marriage, when it works, when you have somebody who's married 20 plus years and they're still crazy about each other, that is the exception, not the rule.
This is a sickness of the highest order.
That's just gross. By the way, shout out to Rollo Tomasi.
Okay, so this dude's been married 17 years, 16. Walsh has been married like 15 years. Tomasi's been married 25 years. Again, not that they have any problems in my mind for commenting on these things. They are certainly not involved in the current crop of females, unless they're doing bad things they shouldn't. Doug Edwards is here. Doug, good to see you. Hello. All right. Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Who's been married well over 25 years. The irony of sitting there.
Yeah.
But when you do it, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So why not buy the ticket, take the ride, but have a prenup? Wear a seatbelt, guys. You can be a safe driver, but wear a seatbelt.
I mean, let's just look at this lineup here for a minute. We got Ryan Stone, Rollo, douchebag 1. No, he's the douchebag 0. This guy. Who is that guy? Thor. Hi, my name is Thor, and I'm going to show you how to get women. And Troy, I've seen him before, but the rest of these guys, like, okay. Does the Jesus pill guy know these are pickup artists? He doesn't know that, right? No. Mouth Agape is here. Hello. Oh my God.
So a happy marriage, he says, is like winning the lottery. And the thing about the lottery is that almost everybody loses. This is a perfect summation of how this entire club views marriage and the message that they're sending to young men in particular.
I agree, Brandon. Bunch of PUAs. Yep. And that's red pill. And oh my God, they're taking advantage of men because they're selling books and shit. Well, don't buy the fucking books. That's why we're here. It's like, hey, listen to Rollo Tomasi shit. That's free on the internet. But if you go and buy his books or Ryan Stone, what's the matter with you? Nothing's going to help. Chris Mitchell, hello. You fellow bigot, you good to see you, man.
Sure, it can be great, they concede, but only if you're insanely lucky. everybody else is screwed.
Right.
Where is the personal responsibility in this conversation? Why is it that the people in the red pill never seem to take any personal responsibility? Why is it always luck?
Maybe they've tried and they found that the situation is not conducive. Maybe they have changed themselves and it doesn't matter because a lot of women go for only the top shelf men until they're worn out, whored out, bored out like a fucking cornfield in Iowa. And then it's like, oh, well, you're probably cute enough. Take care of me and give me money.
Why can't it be a byproduct of good decisions? It's a very fatalistic, nihilistic approach.
I like this. Yeah, this is good.
The most important institution that many of us will ever participate in, because statistically speaking, most of us are going to have kids or at least desire kids.
Okay. Why can't it be a byproduct of good decisions? What does he mean? What does he mean? Think about that for a minute. So should the byproduct of good decisions also go to the female side of it or just the men? Oh, you need to make the decision to find a good woman, you know, the librarian and the woman that works with animals and whatever. Is it the same for women? They should also make good decisions. And yet, when most of them or a lot of them don't, we're supposed to forget about that. Oh, no, it didn't happen. It was just her. She was throwing her wild oats at college and stuff. While you, Johnny Farm Boy, were back growing crops for 4 years, and she was out getting fucking plowed by the fucking football team. Well, hamster, clearly, you're just, you can't handle women being powerful. No, I don't like women getting plowed by the football team every year for 4 years, even the reserve team. And I'm not supposed to care about that. Just, yeah, that's fine. So what are wild oats? Really? Gotcha.
This is a rather bleak view of marriage, and thankfully, it's also nonsense. First of all, the claim that marriage isn't scalable is obviously ridiculous because marriage has served as the bedrock of human society since time immemorial.
Yes, and the women and men were different, weren't they, Matt? You know, have you considered this? That maybe 50 years ago, 60 years ago, men and women were expected to behave in a certain way that's not in effect today. Remember that guardrails quality issue we talked about a few minutes ago? Of course you don't, but we talked about it. There's no guardrails for men or women. Well, men have more of them, but women have none. Because if you say, hey, women shouldn't do that, or blah, 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 boy, you're a misogynist. Oh my God, you hate women. And you hate feminism, and you don't want women's rights. You think anything has changed over the last 50 years, man? Probably longer than you've been alive. Anything at all? Everything's the same as it's always been, right?
It has already happened at the scale of civilization for thousands of years.
And what's happened in the last 100 years, 50 years, 40 years? Everything's the same, is it, Matt? Yes, everything is exactly the same.
Now, the divorce lawyers come along and say that, you know, this thing that society's been doing forever, turns out it doesn't work. Unless,
by the way, who benefits from more divorce and more prenups? I'm not mad.
Women.
If you want to get a prenup, but who benefits from that?
SE is here. Hello, SE. Good to see you.
Lawyers that benefit from that.
Prometheus. I love your name, though. That's great. That's a wonderful name. Not insecurity. It's righteous. Yeah.
Society that benefits from that.
You're the one in a million.
All these women are like, oh, you just can't handle a strong, powerful woman. You're intimidated. No, I'm disgusted. I want to puke because you're such a.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous claim. Now, what about the failure rate of marriages in our culture? We've heard 50%. We've heard 75%.
Now we're going to get all stat cell.
By the way, well, Michael Sarratine.
Excuse me. We're going to get all stat cell here in a minute, boys. Let's go.
Both of those rates are wrong. Like far from.
All right. Well, what are they?
We just heard that they fail at a rate similar to the rate that people lose the lottery, which would mean higher than 99%, a lot higher. These kinds of astronomical odds are not based in anything but the doom and gloom speculations of the people inventing them.
Right.
There is no evidence that having a happy marriage is as unlikely as winning the lottery, or that 75% of marriages end in misery.
Hi, I'm Larry Potterfield.
That's a nice world they live
This is
in.
our Nitro Express 3.0
Ghost Bill is here. Hello,
shipping
Ghost Bill.
system, and this is our primary picking area.
Oh, well,
holding
let's
over
watch this. It might be cool.
100,000 different products.
Cool.
I'm Larry
What is this?
Potterfield with Midway USA. Thanks for your business.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, nice. Go. All right.
And what about the 50% number? Well, this is at least is a familiar statistic. It's something that you've probably heard before. 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Drop a one in the chat if you've heard that statistic before and you've heard it passed on.
Yes, I've heard it, and it's a skewed statistic. But Matt's going to say, well, even if that's not true, but this is better. Really? 1 in 3 chance, 1 in better 3 chance you're going to get your ass. Oh my God, people, what are we doing?
True.
Why?
One in the chat, because I've covered this at length. I got sources on this. I'm 90% sure that he's going to go the same direction that I go with this.
It's familiar, but it is bogus.
I mean, that's a solid name though, Prometheus. I love that. That's great. Put you up there on the table. Okay, it's wrong. All right, Matt, tell us how it's wrong.
One way you know that it's bogus is that people have been claiming that 50% of marriages end in divorce since I was a kid.
That's right.
I've been hearing that my whole life.
Yes.
And that would mean that divorce rates are static across time. But of course, that isn't the case. In fact, we know that divorce rates have gone down in recent years.
Yeah, why is that, do you think? Could it be fewer people are getting married? No. It's because red pill loser incel terrorists.
So where does the 50% figure come from? Apparently, it's a holdover from the 1980s, which is when people first started citing that statistic. It's not true today.
It's actually in The Good News About Marriage.
Really?
Which is a book about this.
Oh, it's a book. Are you trying to sell a book, are you?
Statistic is actually a projection.
Darth Melgus is here. Hello, Darth. Good to see you.
Of what they thought the divorce rate was going to be after it actually never hit that. It was a projection of where they thought the number was going to go.
I mean, do I have to pull up the fucking census data? Really? You're going to make me do that? I'm trying to drink beer here. Come on. I can do it if you want to. Census data clearly shows out of every marriage or 2 marriages in any given year, 1 fails. Not the same fucking year, you donut heads. Jesus Christ.
Not to mention that they've also gone down before.
And it's actually not clear that it was true even in the 80s either. So what is the actual divorce rate? It's a little bit hard to determine. Probably our best guess is based on U.S. Census data, which according to...
Gee, you think, Matt? Wow, that's a fucking shock.
The most recent figures says that about 35% of American adults who have been married have been divorced.
Okay, so 35%, according to census data. 35% is a huge contrast between lottery odds, 75%, 50%. So 35% of folks that were married have been divorced.
So it's not...
So it's better than 35. 1 in 3 chance is better. Okay.
Exactly going to give us a precisely scientific figure of what the divorce rate is, but it's as close as we're going to get, 35%. And 35% is high. I mean, it's way too high.
That's right.
No shit.
It's not 50%, though.
That's right.
And it's not 75%.
That's right.
And it's not 99%. And it's
now, of that 35%, Matt, who initiates divorce at a 75% clip? Of that 35%, which apparently is better somehow, whom would that be? Or would it be the wife? Or would it be the hubby? I think you know the answer, gentlemen.
Definitely not lottery odds. Still, isn't it terrifying to think that if you get married, your chance of failure is 35%, and the chance of success is only 65% at the most?
Yes, it is fucking frightening. Yes, Matt. Correcto.
Yes.
You know, even if we go with that number, isn't that still very, very scary?
Yes.
Isn't it high enough that it should dissuade anyone from attempting it? The answer to that question is no.
Of course not, because hey, you got a 35% chance of falling out of an airplane. No, fuck it, man. I'm going for it.
And here's why. If the divorce rate is 35%, or even if it's 50%, it does not follow that your own particular marriage has a 35 or 50% chance of failure.
Okay, now we get off into La La Land. I'm just going to play it. I have nothing to say here. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Go ahead. Yeah, whatever.
This is so good.
Oh my God, it doesn't mean it's you. It's some other person. Oh my God.
This is so good. Because
is it
based on these numbers, you are just doomed to be like the average that everyone else is.
Now, I'm not,
by the way, but divorce in the church is also too high. Divorce in the church is actually one of the lowest in anything. See my comment.
Okay. Let's address this point first. Church, forbids divorce. Like if you're Catholic, can't do it. You got to go through the annulment and all that other bullshit, right? Wouldn't that be a guardrail? Wouldn't that be a limitation that is imposed by the church? Why, yes, it would, wouldn't it? What about society? Does society do the same thing? No. And what do we have? It might be in the church the divorce rate is 5% or whatever. Excuse me. God, sorry, I got a chunky frog in my throat. Roger, the frog is in the throat here. That's great. So the church is imposing some restrictions on this stuff. And what does feminism fight against? Not women, feminists. What do they fight against? Any restriction, any guardrail, any societal norm. Why do you think they wanted to get rid of the church? Jesus effing Christ. God bless me. I bow before my husband is here. Hello. Good to see you. Always good to see you, sweetie. Hope everything's all right.
Conversation with Rollo Tomasi. Okay, see my conversation with Rollo Tomasi.
Right.
Divorce in a church. Christians, practicing Christians who go to church regularly are least likely to get divorced.
Not saying.
And what is the percentage of practicing real Christians in the United States? And what about the other 70% who are not? No restrictions? It's okay there then, is it? See, every restriction that is placed upon the woman, even though it's placed on the man as well, is oppression. Do you guys not fucking get this?
That you should be cocky or reckless.
That's right.
Or that you should see yourself as invincible. I am saying that you shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. I know. I'm a crazy person for asking reasonable questions.
Other extreme, see yourself as passive debris floating helplessly on the tide of statistical likelihoods.
That's right.
Because you are an individual.
Here it is, the Vanish holster, the world's
no.
most comfortable holster. One thing to know is you don't need a belt with the Vanish holster because it's got one built in. So go ahead and wear this in your business suit, a bathing suit, or your birthday suit. You don't have to have a belt. Now let's talk about the materials. On the inside of the Vanish holster is yoga pants material. It's got a scientific name, but I'm not going to use it. The most important thing to know is this is super comfortable. Ladies know that, and you will too when you're wearing it.
And only the women's wear it. Oh my God.
This material wicks away sweat and moisture, so you don't have to worry about slime or stink.
Wick away my sweat, Brandon. Do it. Oh my God.
And I actually took that same material and put
it goes into your stream later at 5:30. Fagged out.
Your marriage is an individual thing. And its chances of failure are not set by society at large. So here's an example to illustrate what I mean. And this is really, really important to understand because as marriage rates fall, and those are falling.
Do we understand the bell curve? Do we understand it, Matt? 357 snub nose. Oh, 357 will get the job done if you have to have it done.
The thing that convinces so many people to not marry in the first place are numbers like this. And this misconception that, well, look at the divorce rate, and that is my.
All right, we have a gun owner here. Bald Eagle AR Rage. I would never wear that, by the way. Okay. Well, thanks for checking in. We appreciate. Well, that's why we're here. Who knows what to buy nowadays? There's a lot of bullshit out there.
I own specific chance of getting divorced. And I'm here to tell you that's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
Well, companies
just because 70% of people are overweight, that doesn't mean you have to be overweight.
Then they get it. Okay.
Just because 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck doesn't mean you have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Do we know what this conversation is missing now? Jesus Bill here said, "Oh well, just because other people are fat doesn't mean you have to be fat." Okay, fair. Just because of this, other people are doing. We're not talking about other people. We're talking about a man and a woman in a contractual relationship. So yes, I could choose not to get fat, right? My wife could choose to get fat, or vice versa. And she could choose at any time, and 75% of the time to pull the eject cord, and I'm fucked. Maybe I'm just being too cynical. Oh my God, stop it.
Right? That is not how math has to work. That's a very fatalistic, sad boy view of.
However, I can control my weight. She can control her weight or whatever the hell she wants to do. When we're in a partnership and the favoritism is on one side of the aisle, the government supports the female. Not one person, two persons, and the government. Are we getting somewhere? Do maybe we see something here?
The world
is over 40%. This illustrates the obesity rate in the United States is.
Look at that. He went to the obesity rate. That's good.
I'm going to make up a word right now. Irreleventum hamsterium. Doesn't matter who's fat. Means nothing. Yes, if you can control your own fat, or you control your own smoking or drinking or whatever, it's you. You can do that. But you can't control what another person can do with the power of the federal and state government. Are we missing that? Just saying it right now. All right, go ahead.
He went to the obesity rate. I just said the same thing, right? Just because the obesity rate is 40%, that doesn't mean you have to be obese.
Over 40%. Does that mean that your own chances of becoming obese are 40%?
No,
it doesn't. Your chances might be 5%. They might be practically zero.
Jesus Christ. What is this fucking crap?
Please, somebody help! My t-shirt, it sucks!
Put it back on and get on the table.
What?
Dear God. Sloppy collar, rough fabric, boxy fit. We may need to operate.
Is it terminal?
Don't worry, sir. It's not you. It's your shirt.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Clear!
Oh. How do I get all of my t-shirts to look like this?
I'd recommend a prescription for True Classic tees.
True Classic makes shirts you'll actually want to wear.
What do we got? Another
They're designed
ad
to make
here?
your chest
Jesus
and arms
Christ.
pop with a little give in the torso to keep all that manhood cozy. I have a degree in this.
Oh, she's a redhead.
Most consumer t-shirt brands phone it in when it comes to design. Just look.
I'm sorry, I was stirring my chili because, I had to do that.
A body bag with sleeves. Meanwhile, other men's brands overcharge to maximize.
Yeah, let's finish this off here because I got to eat. Go ahead.
Once we start getting into how math works.
Yeah, it would be nice if you actually knew how it worked, Mr. Jesus Pill. That'd be good. Have you tried that a little bit?
Or they might be quite a bit higher than 40%.
Right.
That's because
what we're trying to conflate here, and this is a conflation, is you yourself deciding something, whether it's fat, smoking, whatever, right? You want to get a tan, your hair cut, whatever. And another person putting their thing on you, and you have no choice in the matter. That's the problem with marriage laws today. Anyone at any time can pull the plug, yet 75% of the time, it is the female. Namalama Greenskin, hello. I can't. My eyeballs are shot because, you know, I'm old and fat because some woman made me get fat. Do you see the stupidity in this argument? I think you guys do.
Obesity is the result of behavior and choices. If you do not engage in the behavior or make the choices that lead to obesity, you will not become obese.
That's right.
And another thing is divorce is not dependent on your fat choices. It's depending on someone's mood at any time, at any place. She can pull the plug 75% of the time, and you wind up in a fucking cardboard box on the mean streets of your local city and never see your children again. Do these guys not understand this? Do they not get it? No, they do not.
The fact that 40% of people around you are fat does not mean that you automatically have a 40% obesity risk.
Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah, right.
Ain't that interesting?
Right,
Ain't
sure.
that interesting? It's so basic, but it's so so good.
Now let's take another example. Car accidents. Americans get into car accidents.
What's basic is that if there were another person could tell you and make you get fat when you didn't have a choice, what would you think about that, boys? Someone who decides to get fat by themselves, well, that's their thing. Someone wants to smoke cigarettes or whatever, drink too much, that's their thing. What if someone had the power of the government to force you to smoke cigarettes, or force you to get fat, or force you to do whatever? Women have that option in the current situation. Why aren't we talking about that? 75% of the time. Oh, no. That wouldn't fit my narrative, would it? No.
At a certain rate. I'm not sure what the rate is. It doesn't matter for our purposes. What does matter is that your own individual chance of getting into a car accident is not the same as every other driver on the road. The people who—
That's true. Let's say, though, that in the case of the current airplane incident, let's say that 1/3 or 35% of the time when you get on an airplane, the fucking door is going to fall off. Do you think you shouldn't change your behavior? Do you think maybe it's like, oh, you know, there's a pretty good chance that's going to happen. I'm going to sit by the lavatory in the back, not by this door. No, we shouldn't do that. Because reasons and shit. And let's just say that door at any time, 75% of the time, can be pulled on. You can just pull a lever. Just, you get sucked out of the airplane. 75% of the time, the door opens. And 35% of the time, you could get sucked out and die as you're falling from the fucking sky. Who's going to take that? What rational person is going to agree with this? Matt, come on now. No one. Jesus.
Compile statistics will say things like motorists have an X% chance of getting into a collision.
It's crazy. What is your probability of getting into a car accident? Our report uncovered a startling 77% of motorists in the United States have been in at least one accident in their lifetime. For every 1,000 miles you drive.
Rusty Rivers. Hey, Mr. Crab Crotch. Okay, I'm going to stop it now because I got to go eat. Here's the bottom line. They're spewing a bunch of, wow, what if this? What if 75% of the women on the road ran into your car 35% of the time? Just ran into you. No reason. There it is. Boom, your car's wrecked. It's only 1/3 of the time, though. It's not 50% of the time. Does it fucking matter? I don't want people running into my car, and I don't want people to have the government power behind them to be able to run into my car with impunity 35% of the time. It's not something I'm interested in. I don't want that. I don't want women or whomever, aliens to come in here. Well, only 75% of the time their aliens are going to come and probe you, but it's only 35% chance. Fuck that! No, Shrapnel is here. Rusty Rivers. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming by. This was a good one. Don't forget, we're going to do Inglorious Hamsters. That's even a better name. Probably every Saturday. Tonight at 5:30, Branded True Blood doing a live stream. And then our Godfather, the man. Yes, it is Hammerhand. 6:25 tonight, Central Time, with another Sunday sermon. I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Thanks for coming by. Bye.